Hello and welcome to the CEO Peak. I am Dave Osh and my guest today is Stephen Benson, the CEO and founder of Badger Maps. Badger Maps is a route planner for field salespeople. It helps optimize routes, saves time, and save and reduce the mileage so you can bring more sales. After receiving his MBA from Stanford, Steve worked in field sales in companies like HP, Autonomy, and Google, where in Google he was the enterprise top performing salesperson of the year in year 2009. And just last year, 2017, Steve was voted as the one of the 40 top most inspiring leaders in sales lead management. Hi Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey Dave, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
You know what actually triggered this interview and what inspired me the most is one of your quotes in one of the interviews that I read, is which I really liked it. It's like, if you have enough of the right people, you have an immune system against the wrong people.
That's right. Yeah, that's a part of hiring in an organization. If you do a good job early on, and you really listen to the feedback from everyone and who's interviewing new employees, a bunch of the best people will keep out the types of people that you don't want in the organization, and that's kind of one of the foundations of culture, I think.
So share with us, how do you find the right people and how do you develop them?
So I guess this starts from a young age in a company's life cycle, right? You want to having the right people. The first 10 people are so important, and I guess even the first 3 people who turn around and end up hiring the next 7 people, and then by the time you've got 10, you're covering a bunch of the different areas of the business, and it's really important that you listen carefully and make sure you get a lot of people's input on decisions around hiring and bringing on the next 20, because then if you've done a really great job on the first 10, then everyone can kind of work together to make sure the next 20 are great and really the right fit that you're looking for.
Right. So once you find the right people, how do you continue to develop them? How do you build from then the culture?
I feel like we lucked out in a lot of ways, because a lot of the things that ended up happening weren't things that I set out to do in any way. It's kind of along the way it felt right, or I came across a great idea or heard someone else say something that really resonated with me, and I was like, I want to do that too. But I think we made some decisions early on that ended up playing out really well and have scaled nicely. In the culture at Badger, I think there's a ton of people. Well, people regularly express gratitude. We call it props. On a weekly basis, we have a meeting every Friday where we kind of discuss the results of the week. Having everyone express gratitude for everyone else and really notice them, and everyone kind of gets noticed for what they've done and what they've accomplished, it really, I think it's very motivational for everyone and really keeps everyone on the same page.
Yeah. So what other things you actually felt like really helped you to build a company to what it is today, since it was started in 2012?
2012, yeah, that's right. So I guess that one of the keys to building the company, I think, that we do differently than a lot of companies is that we've always been very focused on our customers, I would characterize this as having a sales-driven culture, which I think a lot of companies would say they're sales-driven, but when I say it, I mean the salespeople are very closely, and the customer success people as well, customer service people, are very closely in touch with our customers, and we go out of our way on a lot of customer success and customer interactions, and we listen to them and really think about what is it that we could do to make them happier and get more value out of our company. So we've always been very focused on that customer value, which customers express gratitude for getting value out of your company by staying with your company, by continuing to buy your product or service, and by buying it in the first place. And so we've always been very focused on setting up these relationships that in a way that the customer is very successful and really gets a lot out of using the product. And as a result, we've managed to get a lot of customers and grow the business and hire more people and I think have a lot of great relationships along the way.
Right. You know, I saw that you actually talk a lot about productivity and being an effective CEO. So, anything that you'd like to share with us today?
Sure. So, I mean, and I don't think that I'm a productivity guru or anything. I'm plenty inefficient at plenty of things, but I think one reason, one thing that I do that I think does make me a lot more productive is that I empower the people on the team to make decisions, and I empower them to own things, and I really avoid micromanaging them. We have a very flat organization, and I like to empower individuals to be in charge of something. I think I kind of stole this idea from Apple, but having one person in charge of each thing and being the person who's ultimately responsible. And I try to never have that person be me. I try to, on every single key metric of the business, I try to have a team member be the person that is in charge of that. And I try to coach them, but I don't manage them in that I don't micromanage them or breathe down their neck. But my style of managing is very much I coach them to do better, and I listen to them and try to enable them to do better and meet the goals that we set out together.
What do you think, like the habits that helps you the most to run the organization on the day-to-day? Things that are routines that you feel that if you continue doing them, things work better.
And the very first thing in the morning is I go through all the interactions that people have had where I might be a sticking point and be in, I don't want to hold up the train anywhere. So I always, I check Slack and check my email and go through and grab the important things that I might be, that I could be potentially holding up the train. If someone's asked me something, hey, can we do this? I want to get back to them and say yes, no, or I want to, make sure that I'm not holding anyone back. And then I work on the projects that I've kind of outlined as being the most important for me to focus on for that day.
Right. So before we wrap up this interview, anything that you read or heard, a speaker, a book that influenced you, that actually had an impact on the way that you founded a company, run a company as a CEO?
A lot of my favorite material, and this is especially relevant if you're in a SaaS business, a software company, recurring revenue business. But I'd say Jason Lemkin is probably the thought leader that I follow the most. He's got some books out that are great to read, but it's really the thing that I think is the stuff that I like best from him is his early blog posts. He sold EchoSign to Adobe, and so he kind of started one of the early SaaS businesses and took it through to a successful exit. And then his next step was kind of to, I guess, write blog posts and do pieces where he addressed different issues that someone doing that would have faced. And so especially like his early work, I say early, it was probably like 2012.
But it's very early.
Very early. Some of his early works were some of my favorite, and I learned, I'd say those are some of the most influential things on my thinking about leading a business of this nature. Now, I don't know if that's as relevant to, if you're running a coal company, it wouldn't be very helpful, but he's very he very specifically addresses a lot of the things that you would run into in this industry.
I see. Entrepreneurs, high growth companies, this is what you mean?
Right. Software companies, basically.
And is there one thing which is still work in progress that still you want to nail it down as the one thing that you working on?
The thing that I'm always working on is helping my employees and team members grow and really make sure they're developing in their career paths and they're getting as much out of this experience as they can, and also thinking about what the best career path is for them in the first place. A lot of the people that work here are relatively early in their career path, soon out of school, and so I spend a lot of time working with them to make sure that they're on the correct career path. And I think that's done a lot for our culture too. The focus on making sure, hey, this person that's doing marketing this marketing role right now, would they be a better fit in PR and kind of rethinking how we move the chess pieces around on the board. I try to shuffle that up. If you're in a marketing meeting at Badger, you're almost always going to have someone who used to be on the sales team, or if you're in the sales meeting, you have someone who used to be on the marketing team. So all the teams seem to be able to work a lot better together because of that understanding.
Cross-functional. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Helping people become cross-functional when you're onboarding them and throughout their early career, I think is really beneficial because they understand the business at a deeper level. You do, of course, lose some efficiency in those transitions, but I think it makes up for itself.
Yes, thanks for bringing it up, because we spoke earlier about that you engage a lot of interns and do this coaching, and it's so fulfilling actually as a CEO that you help those people to find their way in the world, right? Beyond just doing the work and see it from the corporate standpoint.
Right. Yeah, I really try to take a step back and figure out what's really the best fit for this person and talk it through with them and ask them questions. I give them a little survey about what their preferences are and how they like to work and what types of activities they enjoy doing. And then I match those answers to different career paths. And that's been one of the most valuable things, I guess rewarding things I've done at the company is doing that with whether someone's an intern or 2 years out of college, but taking a step back and being able to help them think about the direction they want their career to go and what the best fit is going to be for them. I've really enjoyed that.
Thank you so much, Steve, for your time. I appreciate that, and thank you so much. And thank you for watching the show, and I look forward to see you in the next episode. Have a great day.